Well, there's one guy who might be happy that we're talking about these other things, and that's Doug Emhoff, who's Kamala Harris's president. He, Carl, has been accused of slapping a former girlfriend more than a decade ago. This is according to a report in the Daily Mail. It's been picked up by the New York Post. This was back in 2012, happened at the Cannes Film Festival, the year before he met Harris on that blind date that we've heard so much about, 2 years before they were married. And this is Doug Emhoff in conversation with Jen Psaki on MSNBC just a few days ago.
Something that has also been an important part, or an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here, is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny. I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the right thing to do.
So, Carl, this story, it's picking up a little steam. New York Post picked it up. Newsweek reported on it today. What do you make of it?
Well, we've answered one riddle. Why was such a handsome and successful lawyer actually single when he met Kamala Harris? Why was he available? And now we know his girlfriend broke up with him because he slapped her so hard he spun her around, and she called sobbing from a cab, calling her friends to complain about it, and broke up with him. Look, in all seriousness, this is, you look at these charges against someone like Sean Combs. I mean, in the scheme of things, this may or may not even be a misdemeanor. It may not even be a crime. It sounds like it happened, but we don't know. But this idea that he's the new kind of man, that he's the 21st century non-toxic male, and all we know about his personal life. I mean, there was that lovely story they told at the convention in Chicago. He asked Kamala Harris out awkwardly on the phone and leaves a voicemail, and she plays it for him every year on their anniversary. That was charming. But his first wife, that marriage broke up after he impregnated the nanny, and now this girlfriend comes forward a year before he meets Kamala Harris, and she says he committed domestic violence on her. Sounds like the new kind of male is a lot like the old kind of male.
Yeah. We were all at that Democratic convention, and I watched him give that speech. It was a very effective speech, Tom. I thought it was one of the better moments of the convention.
You can go back and roll the tape. I actually thought he said, and I said at the time, I thought he was the best speaker of the night, and that included Michelle Obama. I thought he was the most effective at sort of humanizing her and all these things. And then, of course, we find out after the fact that, look,
do you wish to revise and extend your remarks, Tom?
Well, no, he still gave a great speech. The problem is, and this
was he Churchillian? That's the question.
Megan, if you're listening, I'm here. Don't worry. No, look, the reason that this matters as much as it does, and it should matter, okay, is not this is a private event that happened, however many years ago.
13 years ago, allegedly.
Yeah. It's that he's been rolled out by the campaign, by the media, as the new standard of which, he has, according to Jen Psaki, reshaped the perception of masculinity. Now, the story about the nanny was already out there. Okay. And now we
didn't get a lot of coverage, though.
Didn't get a lot of coverage. And even though you say, Andy, well, the New York Post ran it on the front page, it was their cover. ABC, NBC, CBS, New York Times, Washington Post, nothing. Total crickets. And again, I'm not going to go on another media rant, but of course, if the shoe,
you only get one a day, Tom.
Exactly. I'm limited. But if the shoe was on the other foot, obviously it'd be national news. It'd be everywhere. It'd be all over the place. Right. So it's hypocritical. And the other question that's somewhat interesting, right? They reached out, New York Post and others reached out to the campaign. The Harris campaign is not commenting on this. But I was talking with my wife about this, and I was just wondering, I wonder if she knew about either of these stories before. Maybe she knew about the nanny before she started dating him and married him. But I don't know that she knew. She may be learning about this for the first time, which would be shocking. And I don't know if that makes gives her more of an obligation to talk about it or speak about it or respond to it or not?
Tom Sheets, domestic abusers for breakfast.
All right. Well, on that happy note, we're going to have to leave it. You've been listening to Real Clear Politics on Sirius XM.